gotta work for the both of us. Put you in the driver's seat. Don't gotta work.
Good morning. It is Saturday morning right now, and I have to say this weather is absolutely wonderful. I just wanted to give you a recap of how the plants are doing that I transplanted, and just showing you some of the stuff that are our messes and successes. So I guess I will start with the side yard and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to turn the camera around, but I am loving, absolutely loving this weather. All right, so this is the side of the yard that I have been showing you, and I have to say that I love the vines, but the proven winners, super petunias, do not do well in this area. They just don't. So right there used to be the Bordeaux. It has been one engulfed by the vine, potato vine, or whatever it's called. And we've had so much rain, it literally is just, it's gone. I could probably dig it up and try and revive it, but at this point, I'm just gonna let it die. We have the snowdrift, which is doing okay, but if you look at the leaves, they don't look as big as the leaves normally look. They're trying to curl in, they're really small, and that is not how it should look at all. It should be thick, it should be plush. It looks really brittle and straggly. There are some weeds and stuff and grass I have to get out, but it is what it is. Same thing with all the super petunias. So I think this one is Jadsberry. The Raven is doing wonderful. Bubblegum is having some problems. The vines are the ones that are doing the best. Snowdrift again, and then back and forth between the other two again. They are not doing well at all. Over here, however, it's doing pretty good still. I come in here and I try and keep up with cutting them as soon as I notice that they need to be cut. I did have to rip out half of the cosmos just because they were just getting way too big and they were starting to rot out because there's just not a lot of airflow. They get a lot bigger than I realized. But the sunflowers are doing absolutely wonderful. They finally started blooming and they look great. They're not as big or as thick stalked because they are jam-packed in there together. I was thinking about cutting them, but we are in zone 8A and we get all the seasons. So we kind of get cold. We don't get as much snow, but we can drop down into the low teens, 20s for us. But I've been noticing a lot of caterpillars in here as well. Like there's one right here. Let me see if I can get up close. So I haven't really been cutting on them because there have been a lot of caterpillars in here too. So you can even see some of the leaves are being chomped on and things like that. So I haven't actually cut any to bring in the house because I've saw like webbing and things like that, because you know, some places are really dry, some places are really cold. Ours, we just get a good amount of everything. So the downside with that is we have a lot of bugs. We have a lot of, you know, creatures in our gardens. So that's it for this spot right here. So they are looking pretty good. I did plant red ones, pink ones, and I think white zinnias, but all I have is pink. So I'm not sure where the where the red ones went. That might be a red one down there, but I can't tell. I think these right here are the apricot cosmos that I got from Botanical Interest, I think that one's Botanical Interest. It's the only one that really stayed kind of small and blooming really well. The other ones just, I don't know, they were blooming not all at the same time. You get one bloom and then it just dies before the next one. So I kind of don't really like that. I wish there's a smaller size, like a dwarf cosmos, and that would be something really pretty to do, but these do get really big. And I do see a really bright pink one in there somewhere. Like you can see that really pretty pink one. That one's pretty cool. They are doing really good. A lot of pollinators in here, mostly like moths and some butterflies, but I feel like I see more moths than anything else in here. These are all, I wouldn't call them generic, but I would say that they're not like any type of Johnny's or anything like that kind of brand. You can see pollinators are loving it all in there. They absolutely adore this spot, and I didn't realize that some of these were, I guess, multi-headed ones, like they have multiple blooms on the same one. I don't know what you would call that, but they're so pretty, and it would be nice to be able to cut them a little bit just to bring them inside, but the pollinators love them so much, and I don't have a whole lot of them, so I just don't want to take away their fun. But that is really, really pretty. This is my grape vine. I think it's being eaten by something, I'm not too sure, but it doesn't look like all of it's being eaten, just a little bit. Hopefully maybe next year, since it's the first year in the ground, it will do a little bit better, but I'm gonna try and revamp this area so that I can clear it all out. That would be really nice. Alright, so I'm gonna take you over here to this other side. Of course, you already know that everything that was in this area is completely gone. All the plants that I put in, with the exception of one, survived. I mean, the tomatoes didn't survive in the sense that caterpillars ate it. If you can see, it's just like a little stick now. So yeah, so it's not doing so well, and the caterpillar is eating all of my beets that were right there as well. So I might have to do another session of that as well. I don't know how to keep them out of there, but I might have to do another section right there. The okra did really well. It had like 2 or 3 of them. I don't eat okra, but I thought it would be fun to try and grow it. I know they say that you have to harvest it kind of on the younger side, otherwise it can get kind of gross. The okra in itself is kind of slimy anyway, but so that's not my kind of that's not something I would find appealing to eat. Oh, and look, I think that's another caterpillar right there. Look, right here. Look at him go. He's probably the one that's been eating, probably eating everything. Look how big he is. I think that's a hornworm they call it. Yeah, looks like a hornworm. He's been having a ball on all of the leaves, including my tomatoes. There's probably another one in here. I feel like there would be more than one to do this kind of destruction. My eggplant is still alive. It's starting to flower again, so I guess maybe it's recuperating from what happened, but with the season starting to turn, I don't think I'm going to get another one out of it. This is the sweet potatoes. I saw a couple of little ones in there, so hopefully we'll have some big ones. We'll see. The squash did make it, so that's really nice. So I have a couple of squash in there. I put down some more type of squash plants. I don't know if it's going to be enough time for them to produce anything, but keep our fingers crossed. We might get something. This one was already over here and it hasn't really done much of anything. So I don't know what's going to happen with that one. The corn got a little bit bigger inside the bed than it did outside the bed, so that's kind of interesting. So it's probably just the compacted soil like I was thinking it was. My other eggplant over there is not doing so well, and I think something was eating it at first, and then the eggplant that's on it is kind of shriveled up and dying. And of course, my other tomato plant that did survive, it's been defoliated by probably another hornworm. So everything is looking pretty good for what did survive, and then of course destruction from pests, but I don't mind. It's just a lot of good old fun. Next year we'll try and do something a little different to see if we can get it going. My watermelon is probably not going to make it to the end of the season. The weather is already changing for us just a little bit. It's not super hot, super cold yet. It's still getting up in the 90s, but I can tell with the morning it's starting to change. And then this, of course, looks like a cantaloupe, and it might actually be ready. Let's see. Nope, not yet. I've noticed that when it's ready, it will just slip right off the vine, but that one's not really slipping. I like to rotate it to try and keep it from getting too gross. Oh, and look, it's already splitting too on the bottom. So yeah, there's ants all in it. So they're having a ball with it. So that's a goner. Oh, and it did fall off the vine. So that's a goner, but that's okay. It's fun to try and grow stuff and see what we get. And of course, the grass doesn't help. I need to figure out something better to do with my vine crops to see if I can get anything. I might have to do something else and maybe see if I can find like a bush variety. There might be something like that. I'll probably give this one just a couple more days before I harvest anything off of it, just to get them a little bit bigger. I want them just a tiny bit bigger, especially that back one right here. I want it just a little bit bigger than that. And then this one, I can always get them mixed up with my calla lilies and my canna lilies. I think this is my canna. But I have 2 of them, which is hilarious because that one and both of them were put in at the same time, and that one just was stunted for some reason. They get about the same amount of sunlight and the same amount of water, and this one has like 2 or 3 of them, because I guess they multiply every year. But this one still only has like the main stem, but hasn't really done a whole lot with making extra ones. So I don't know. Maybe I'll split that one off because it has 3 in this one, and then I can have 2 in each pot. And this is my herb garden. It's really sad. It's kind of small, but it's also sad because I think I have something else eating all of this stuff in here too. So if you look, you can see that the leaves have been chomped on. They're enjoying it, and I snip them off and it just gets bigger, so I don't really mind that, but it's just kind of funny that you can see all the teeth marks and bite marks out of it. It's pretty funny. Over here, I do have, I think these are zucchinis, and I think I showed them before, but these aren't doing the best. I think I need to trim them back because, like I said, we've been getting a lot of water, and they're just not happy with the water. But the 2 that I have over here is Royal Magenta and Royal Velvet, and I do fertilize them every week, twice a week. But they're just, I don't know, they're just not happy right there. So I might just trim all of this off, and just because of how straggly these are, and just see if it'll bounce back, at least for the magenta. Master has struck, guys. So this tree has been, I guess, pruning itself. We've been wanting to clear this out, and this is where our shed is going to go. So I will have to definitely work on getting this tree down as soon as possible. It is a very large tree, and it just keeps pruning. That's the one thing about pine trees. If you have them, they're great if they're far away from your property. But on your property, they're typically, if they're young, they're okay. But once they get bigger, it's too much of a mess. And then this is a Rosa Sharon that we have up here that was naturally just here. So I have left it, I've pruned it back every year, and it just does its own thing with being so pretty. It's pretty cool. Got a big, huge mess to clean up. And the way we have to do it, we have to take the sticks and bundle them up in little bundles, call the city, and they'll take it. These large pieces, I'm not too sure if they will take them like that, so I may have to get my saw out and cut them into smaller pieces and put them out. That's it, basically. There's not much else going on. I don't do like super big gardening. Mine's more of the realistic gardening. A couple plants here and there, just trying to make things look a little nice. But that's it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.